Is this thing on? Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Now, welcome to the live chat. It's a bit earlier than normal, quite a bit earlier than normal, because I've got things to do tonight. And I just wondered if we're going to get any viewers in. So let's see. Let's wait. Check out my poll. Is Christian Bale the best Batman? Obviously, if you're rewatching this, you can't be involved in the poll. I don't think you can. Anyway, if you're rewatching it, but if you're watching this live, you can get involved with my poll. Please smash a like on the like button, please, and let's get this chat started. Is Christian Bale the best Batman? He's been my best Batman for a very long time, actually. I think he's amazing. Villager. Hi, Mick. Hello, Villager. How you doing? The floor's yours. What do you want to talk about? But yeah, very fascinating situation. With the Batman doing so well, will the Batman kind of influence Discovery? Will they say that maybe this is the way to go? Each director to have his own world? Because kind of Nolan had his own Earth, didn't he? Right? And Bryan Singer had his own Earth with, with Superman Returns, and then with Green Lantern, that was on a different Earth as well. Maybe this is the way to go, because, personally, I think you can have a mainstream shared universe. You can have someone like Snyder doing his own thing in a self-contained universe. Everyone can get something. But I'm all about the entertainment value. I watch movies for one reason: to be entertained, to be compelled, to get into characters, and to see these characters that I've idolized all my life, be done in a great way. And nothing else really interests me. I don't watch a film to be spoken down to. That's boring. I'm an independent, intelligent man who can absolutely, talk about stuff and make his own mind up about politics and things like that. So I don't need Hollywood elites to tell me how to think or to dictate to me. Something tells me I've done this live too early, but I didn't want to do it tonight. I wanted to chill out tonight. So that's why we're here early today, because I really, really didn't want to do it tonight. So I'm doing it now. And let's see who comes in. Let's see if anyone's interested for a conversation. Because this is your life for today. If no one comes in, there won't be one later on. So it's up to everyone to get involved. If no one's about, then I'll talk for a while, then shut the live off. But if you've just come into the chat, welcome to the show. Please smash a like on the like button. Check out my poll. Is Christian Bale the best Batman? We got 3 votes saying no, 100%. Fickle audiences just jumping on the most recent Batman, I suspect. Villager, do you think people are starting to get short attention spans from apps like TikTok? Well, yes, of course. Of course, if I do a long video, more than likely, I don't get a lot of attention. But then again, YouTube has a different audience to TikTok. So I think, look, the kids have got a short attention span. But then again, I think if you're an intelligent kid, it doesn't mean everyone. It's not the same rule for everyone. Villager, maybe that's why they pretended the Batman was too long. I don't think that's the case. I just think that people used it as a rod to smash over its head, because people have agendas. So all they could come up with was it's too dark and too long. They still sat there, didn't they, and watched it. So they paid the money, they watched it. There's loads of long films. Titanic is about 3 hours long. JFK is about 3 hours long. The 10 Commandments is over 3 hours long. The Snyder Cut's 4 hours long. It's not about the length of the film. It's about the quality of the film. And Villager, I think that fear is kind of disbanded, because with the box office, it's clear that TikTok hasn't given people a short attention span, because people and mainstream audiences are going back to see the Batman, or it wouldn't have that box office, would it? John, hi, Mick. Early live today. Yeah, hi, John. I decided to do it early before my dinner so I could relax and maybe watch the Snyder Cut uninterrupted. So that's why I'm here early today. I wanted to relax this evening. Where are we? What time is it? It is now in Cyprus, 5:15. Yeah. So I probably a bit annoying for you lot because, you know, you come from different countries. The time differences in America is about morning. Good morning, America. We can make this a breakfast show for America, can't we? In the UK, it's 3:15, and here it's 5:15. So I thought I'd give it a try. Villager, I never really liked Christian Bale's Batman anyways. I found him boring in The Dark Knight. But in Batman Begins, I liked him. Nolan ruined the character Loki just to give Joker more attention. Couldn't agree more. Christian Bale, when he had loads of screen time as Bruce Wayne, was at his best. And I noticed the same thing. And I think even in The Dark Knight Rises, I felt the same thing. He didn't give him the same development as he'd given him in the first movie. Let's hope we don't get that kind of thing from Matt Reeves going forward. But yeah, I agree with that stance. Christian Bale was amazing in Batman Begins. Batman Begins is the pick of the lot for me. And it was hugely disappointing that he gave more attention to Joker. I mean, obviously the villains are always more interesting than the heroes, but yeah, I felt the same way. And it kind of, that's why The Dark Knight really isn't my favorite Batman movie, because I think he dropped the ball. Such a good actor as well. And he knew that. With Batman Begins, he gave him everything. And then he gave him less with the other two movies. It's a bit strange. I don't know what Chris's mentality was there. I think Christian Bale's the kind of actor you need to be looking at. But I think he's a good Batman. I don't think he's a bad Batman at all. Smash the like button. No one's liking the video so far. Please remedy that. Check out my poll. But I think the Batman is really a great start, and I think Reeves has got big plans. Apparently, a sequel should be greenlit this week, which I'm surprised about because I don't think they're greenlighting anything until Discovery come over. But we will wait and see. We will see how that goes. Of course, there's a lot of arguments between critics and journalists about Coda and what's it called? The dog movie. It's Oscar season. It's Oscars next week, and there's a lot of arguments about this Coda movie and Power of the Dog as well, which I've found very amusing, as you can see on my Twitter at Movies TV Mad. I mean, it's interesting. I was on TikTok today, and what's his name? I forgot his name now. He's a really successful kind of TikTok, and he was talking about how he noticed an MCU reference in a film or TV show, and he was talking about how the MCU is now pop culture. And John, could Zack Snyder get a different director to do Justice League 2 and 3? Someone he trusted? No, because it's not Zack's vision then, is it? Absolutely not. Has to be Zack. Or it's not. It's not. I mean, you can put that story out there, but it's half measures. I mean, I understand that people know that Zack's working on Rebel Moon, but as I kind of worked out today, Zack could get onto Justice League 2 and 3 by around October 2023, which is perfectly fine. Villager, Marvel fanboys pretend Marvel is the best thing ever. I wonder when they're watching a Marvel movie and they see how mediocre it is, if they actually think about that. So anyway, this guy was talking about it being a pop reference and how Marvel is a huge brand and DC isn't. And my response to that was pretty simple, really, that I appreciate all the DC media I've been watching since I was a young boy. You know, Superman the movie, Superman 2, Batman 89, Batman 92, the Dark Knight trilogy, the Joker movie, Man of Steel, BVS, the Snyder Cut. I wouldn't swap these movies for any MCU type success, because they'll still be talking about BVS and MOS in 30 years' time. How many people will be talking about Iron Man 2 or Captain Marvel? Let's be honest about it. So you can keep your Marvel popularity, you can keep your $1 billion a movie, and I'll keep my beloved DC. How about that? John, Morbius has been getting bad reactions. You know why, John? Because Spider-Man's not in it. That's why they're hating on this movie. I shall watch it for myself. I think it's going to be great. But it's a movie in its own rights, no doubt, probably. You know, it's not going to have shared this and shared that and references. But people are obsessed. You know, I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home has made 800 million only just in America. That shows you how people are obsessed with a film actually not being a film anymore and just being cameos and Easter eggs. How sad is that? That's what Feig's done to this new generation of moviegoers. They'll take any old shit as long as there's a fucking cameo. So I shall watch Morbius and I shall judge it on the film's merits. Villager, I would rather have hits and misses in a movie franchise than mediocrity after mediocrity with the exact same formula. Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Shazam are completely in terms of tone and theme. Well, they're really good standalone movies. Shazam out-Marveled Marvel. Wonder Woman is one of my favourite origin CBMs. It's a fucking piece of poetry. I love it. And Aquaman is sensational. A village of things. And I agree with you, yes. For me, I don't need people telling me what a great franchise the DCEU is. Clearly, it's not really a franchise. But in terms of films, there's a lot of good art going on there. There's a lot of good films in that franchise. I think MOS is a great film. BVS is a great film. The Snyder Cut's a great film. Wonder Woman's a great film. Aquaman's a great film. Shazam's a very entertaining film. And Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 84, you'd watch it in the afternoon, you know, when you're chilling out and you think, well, you know, that's all right. And so that's how I see it. Because, you know, it depends what you want. That's the thing, isn't it? Do you want box office and everyone saying it's amazing when it really isn't? Or do you want something substantial? I think what Zack Snyder was setting up was very, very special. I think it may not be the MCU, but it's something special. It had connective tissue. It was pretty awesome. And by the time we got to Justice League 3, you know, I think it would have been awesome. Just seeing Superman leading out a metahuman army, that's a great arc. That's a great franchise. Not everything has to be like the MCU. You don't need a gag every other fucking scene. You know, and people have got to get over this. And some people want DC live action to become that. And I hope it doesn't. I like directors like Zack Snyder. It's compelling. It's serious. It looks great. There's something going on. You know, I mean, the problem is people don't seem to like substantial depth in their storytelling anymore. And I think that there's a problem there. For the people who do like that, because the mainstream audience basically get the movies that they want. And that's unfair for the rest of us. Crashy Cat, is this thing on? Is this actually a live or a premiere? It's a live video, my friend. I decided to come on live today. Crashy Cat, hello, all regardless. Hello. It's a live video. Smash a like on the like button, please. Let's get this live chat going. Let's get some likes on there. I think you're a very stingy bunch of people with likes, aren't you? There you go. Whoever did that, thank you. Let's get those likes going. Is Christian Bale the best Batman? 6 votes. No, 83%. Yes, 17%. Please vote on my poll. Question K, is Christian Bale the best Batman? I believe his films are the best, but he is not the best Batman. That's interesting. That's interesting, isn't it? I think he's one of the best Batmen. Villager, I actually like the Martha scene in BVS. People laughed at it, but I thought it was obvious that Bruce finally realized Clark was also as human as him. Listen, they were just looking for stuff. They were just looking for stuff to hate because they have this preconceived hatred of Snyder. I don't know why people hate a talented artist. I think it's weird. Creation K, best Batman is Kevin Conroy. You know, I think it's weird when you've got an unproblematic geezer who's actually making great art and great superhero content, and they drove him away and we lost out because his way is a great way. And I want to see him do more. I want him to finish his story. If you said to me, would you rather not see another DCEU central movie, or would you rather see a Snyder finish his art? I'd rather see, if I didn't see the Flash movie or Aquaman 2, I don't give a shit. I want to see Snyder's movies because the care and attention he puts into his movies are beautiful. And there's meat in the sandwich of his movies. Villager, wasn't it obvious that Clark only said Martha in BVS because he knew that name would make Bruce feel something? Is that just me that interpreted it that way? Yes, I think so. I think so, Villager. He was trying. Well, he was about to get fucking killed. So he probably investigated Bruce's past and kind of worked that out. Crazy Cat, I would put Bale Batman second behind him. Also, what happened to Conroy? I don't know. You'll have to tell me. He's getting older, isn't he? He was on Crisis on Infinite Earths, though, wasn't he? 4 people in the chat. More likes, please. Let's keep the conversation going. Personally, I think that Affleck's Batman is absolute. I would say Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne and Ben Affleck's Batman. I think that's how it works for me. Crazy K, you just said something like that was moved out of something, or is that something else? Excuse me? What? You just said something like that was moved out or something, or is that something else? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. And Creation K's been at the old Scotch already. Villager, apparently Henry Cavill was cast in the MCU as Wolverine, but I don't know if it was just clickbait. No. Who told you that? Who told you that? Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look. I don't know what you're talking about. What was the article? Yeah. Who did the article, though? What site was it? How long ago was this? Was this today? Yesterday? Crazy Girl, after I mentioned Kevin Conroy, you said the following. He was moved out and took out of projects. No, I never said that, Creation K, meaning he wasn't desirable for future projects. I didn't say that, Creation K. I didn't say anything like that. I hope this makes sense. Who were you referring to? I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I was talking about Zack Snyder. I'm not talking about Kevin Conroy. All I said about Kevin was that he's getting on a bit now. That's all I said. But he was in Crisis. George Clooney played a good Bruce Wayne. It was okay. I think he was wrong for the role, wasn't he? No, there's nothing. And apparently Wayne T. Carr's tweet about Green Lantern was liked by Ryan Reynolds. Apparently Zack had planned for Wayne T. Carr and Ryan Reynolds to team up and go to Batman. So, interesting stuff. Question goes, sorry, I will go back and have a look. Yeah, I remember you said he was getting a bit, but there was something earlier anyway. My bad. I will rewind and check. I wouldn't waste your time, mate. I know what I said. Question Cave, thank you for clarifying that you were talking about Snyder. That's okay. Villager, search Henry Cavill hijacked by Marvel to be new Wolverine. This is an old rumour, mate. This is an old rumour. There's nothing on Twitter. Even if I go on there, I'm going to find a bunch of old... I'm just going to find, there's nothing now. It's not happening, mate. When did you find this? Where was it? When did you see this? Now? Yesterday? Is it breaking news right now? No, I just think it's rumours. I mean, that's a rumour that's been going on forever. The other day, they said Daniel Radcliffe, and Daniel pretty much told them to F off. Oh, it was on Reddit. Oh, well, that says everything, doesn't it? If it was on Reddit, I don't even need to think about it. Okay, good to know. It's a recent article I found on Reddit. I was about to flip. Henry, you have to stay with DC. Well, he's not with DC. He's not with Marvel. He's not with anyone right now. The closest we were going to get to see of him in the Flash movie was old footage. So he's part of, he's part of the Netflix game. Croatian Cat, now I understand. As soon as you read my comment, you went straight into talking about Snyder, leaving me a little confused. Anyway, big question today. Will Discovery be influenced by the Batman? Yes. That's for you, not for me. I think that Discovery will be influenced by the Batman and create self-contained universes. If it was me, I would disband this DCEU they're attempting to do. Because clearly they're already making a mess out of it. John, Henry Cavill is with Netflix at the moment. John, yes, right, John, yes. And I certainly wouldn't be, I don't go on Reddit anyway, because it's pointless. It's like going to IMDb. Villager, I still have faith he's still in the DCU, unless you're trying to imply you know for a fact that he's not anymore. That's not what I'm trying to imply. I think everything will become very clear when Discovery take over officially, slowly but surely. So, but he's not part of DC at the moment, my friend, because WB Pictures have no intention of putting him in the movies. So, WB Pictures, the people running that department of Warner Brothers need to go. We need a Warner Discovery Pictures with a new leader. We need a DC Studios with a good leader. And if these things don't happen, and if Discovery don't make these changes, nothing will change. We're going to have a shit fucking franchise. And all because they wouldn't allow Snyder to finish what he started. Because it's better than what we've got now. And it was interesting. It was interesting. It was a deep dive. Villager, I have faith in Discovery. Well, at the moment I have, but if they come in and make no changes, obviously, then we're back to square one. But, Snyder should never have been removed. Question, I believe that the Batman will be an integral part of their plans moving forward, so they will be influenced by it. Looking at Discovery's track record, I think there are a few things they will do. Yeah, well, apparently David Zaslav is very supportive of his talent. So that's interesting. He doesn't like creators being mistreated. That's obvious. He's been talking to people. And things are happening. Things are happening. I hope and think he's going to restore the Snyderverse. Because I prefer that. I was enjoying the Snyderverse, actually. I was enjoying it. I thought it was great. Until they disbanded him and they were messing with the other movies. It was very exciting. In fact, if they were smart, they would have just left the DCEU to him at the time and created their own mainstream franchise. Instead of disbanding the guy altogether, dumb. Croatian K, number one, I think there will be an assessment on the box office and how successful the DC movies have been commercially. They've probably made that. They've probably been doing that already. I mean, they already know their numbers. And the truth is, the past few DC movies haven't been successful before the Batman. Birds of Prey, total flop. You know, whatever you say, James Gunn's A Suicide Squad in theatres, total flop. Wonder Woman 84, we can't judge it because that was in the peak of the pandemic, but I suspect that wouldn't have made the money people think it would have made. So the assessment is there to see. The last movie that made a profit in the DCEU was Shazam. John, if Henry Cavill does not come back as Superman in the DCEU, they could always use Brandon Routh. They could, but too many people want Cavill, my friend. So that would be exciting, and I'd welcome that, but that's not Zack Snyder's Superman. They could use him in another universe. I'm fine with that. In a centralized universe, away from Snyder's DCEU, that's fine. But you couldn't replace him. You couldn't say, this is Henry Cavill now. But you can bring him in. You could give Brandon his own universe and continue his story as the Christopher Reeve Superman and adapt Superman 78, the graphic novel. I think that would be very exciting. I think it's a great graphic novel, by the way. Villager number 2, they are already monitoring online communities and fandoms to see what people want. Well, then we know what's going to happen then, don't we? Creation K, number 2, I think the DC fandom will be discontinued and they will bring a new method or system for advertising future projects. I feel as well that they might be a little more inclined for fan input. I'd be very surprised if they did away with DC fandom because that's one of the few good ideas that the people at WB Pictures have actually had, my friend. Question K, sorry, number 3, Villager mentioned number 2. So I think DC fandom will stay because it's a very good idea. It's something actually that people look forward to now. But it's going to be very, very interesting what happens. Things have to change because I think we can see this is an irrelevant franchise. Since Zack Snyder's gone, it's an irrelevant franchise. It's as simple as that. There's a $1 billion movie. There's a film that made a little profit. There's another film that didn't make a profit. There's another film that didn't make a profit. What is it? What is the DCEU after Snyder? No arc, no nothing. Oh, now they've delayed all the movies. You know, I'm sorry, it's dead. Villager, is 300 a good movie? I've never watched it. It's fucking fantastic. Creation K, DC fandom was hated by a lot of people this year. And this is a fact. A lot of people stopped watching after a while, only watched because of the Batman when looking at statistics. Well, listen, Creation K, maybe people were hating on it because they didn't feel it had what they thought it was going to have. But you can change the way you do it and you can have more exciting things. It doesn't mean you're just going to disband it because a few hundred people didn't like it. You know, if we listened to everyone on the internet, we wouldn't do anything. So I don't agree with that. I think it's a very good idea, and I think it's going to continue. John, they could use Brandon Superman in the Michael Keaton universe. They could do, but preferably, I think maybe everyone should be in their own universe. But as I say, if you want a mainstream centralized universe, you have to start one from scratch. You can't steal Zack Snyder's universe and try and turn it into a mainstream universe. They tried it with Justice League. It didn't work. Villager, people call Shazam a flop, but it made a profit, proving people are here for my man Shazam. Can't wait for Shazam 2. Yeah, Shazam made a little profit. It didn't cost much to make it, so all's good. It wasn't a flop, certainly. And a lot of children like Shazam. So, yes, it was a success. Not everything has to be up there, but it was a success. Creation K, good point. I mean, people can say a lot of things, but it doesn't mean it. That's the internet. I can literally type something on the internet and it's bollocks. That's why people take any notice of people sometimes is beyond me. I see a lot of shit on there. Sometimes I respond to it, but when it's utter bollocks, I don't bother. But the problem is the DCEU is a disjointed franchise. It's no good. It's no good. Someone has to come in there and sort things out. Crashing Game Mick, just wondering, what was one of the factors that made you include a poll about Christian Bale today? Had any more thoughts about his Batman films, any new takes? Well, I've always believed that Batman Begins is one of the best Batman films ever made. It's such a deep study on Bruce Wayne and Batman as characters. So I've always liked it, and I just thought, oh, I'll ask that today. John, Shazam reminds me of the movie Big. Well, the concept, yeah, the concept is big, isn't it? I don't think actually they dealt with that concept as well as Big did, by the way. Balconator, why do you think movies outside the DCU is better than movies in the DCU, at least box office wise? Yeah, I think it's careful to say that they're not better movies just because of box office. Well, listen, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a trend. It's been a trend since the first Avengers movie. There is nothing we can do about it. They are just a bunch of, cookie cutter movies that people get excited about. So that's the reason. That franchise is doing well. It has a good reputation. It's a trend. It's fashionable. It's nothing more than that. And any other comic book movie that doesn't follow that trend might not do as well because everything's compared to the MCU. But I do believe that Snyder was hitting on something really special. We were doing something disconnected and different and highly interesting. And when I see Snyder's DC movies, it's like someone's opened the comic books up and they've come to life. It's amazing. And lots of us were enjoying it. And as I say, they could have left him to carry on doing that and created a mainstream universe. But they're not smart. Villager, I like James Gunn and Peacemaker, but Vigilante's character got so annoying by the last half of the season. Well, that's because that's James Gunn's personality, isn't it? Baconator, no matter how bad MCU movie is, it still will be successful. Yes, Baconator, but that doesn't affect me. I don't have shares in Marvel or DC. I want to see good movies. So if I go to the cinema and I see a shit movie, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, but it's going to make a profit. People are still going to like it, right? It's bollocks, right? People just go there because it's franchise loyalty, isn't it? That's all it is. The MCU is a trend. That's all it is. That's where its significance ends. Creation Cake back in there, maybe because the IPs I've used are amongst the most lucrative, e.g. Joker, Batman, etc. But basically, you see, you're over-focusing on the box office. To me, I don't care about the box office. I want to see good films. That's it for me. Villager Eternals was trash and it low-key flopped. I'm glad about that because it was so bad and it had Angelina Jolie. Well, it was okay. It wasn't the movies people are used to going to see. That's for sure. I think that Chloe Zhao had more leeway to make an individual movie. John, do you think Peacemaker will come to Blu-ray? I think it should come to Blu-ray. I don't know if it will, but it should. I'm sick to death of these streaming services that are not available to me and lots of people, and they won't even release them. They're taking something away from the audience just to make some quick money. And I'm sick of it. Imagine we will never get Obi-Wan on hard copy, the Obi-Wan series. Imagine that, not having that in your Star Wars collection. Although it might be shit, so we may be glad it's not in our Star Wars collection. Villager, if a Marvel movie following the Marvel formula doesn't do well, then that means Marvel might start making better movies. Well, I don't think they have the ability to make better movies, Villager. That's the problem. I don't think they have the ability because all they've been doing is doing different versions of the same movie. Let me give you an analogy. In the 80s, we had a record company called Stock, Aitken and Waterman. And they just used to bring in artists and pretty much all the songs sounded the same, but they still made money. That's what the MCU is. Creation Cake, oh no, the same here, man. It's better for a film to be well done rather than smash the box office. If people want to make tons of money without putting in the work, they should do something else. Listen, they can do what they're doing, but all I'm saying is that's not my prior concern. Why do I care if a film makes money? The only reason I want DC movies to make money is so we get more. That's where it ends for me. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hello there. I clicked the link and I went away. Oh my God, that was so annoying. Oh my God, I've only got 2 likes. That's ridiculous. Creation K, oh no. Right, Villager. Lol, this is why people pirate and bootleg. Studios are anti-consumer and are surprised when people are anti-studios. Creation K, but they won't do anything else because, as we know, the world is corrupt. Balconator, what is your reaction on the photo of the Green Lantern? I think it's beautiful, Balconator. I think the lad would have made a great John Stewart, and we want to see him. So let's restore the Snyderverse so that happens. John, be right back. Okay, John Creation K, it's okay. We didn't see you go. You were still here. Oh, right. Oh, my God. Lucky I didn't say anything, wasn't it? Villager Mick, I watched your John Campion rant the other day and you made a great point. Did I? When did I talk about John Campion? I can't remember that. Maybe it was in a video or something. Well, John Campion's obviously ex-industry. He didn't make it in the industry. He then was on Collider, where they came together and created something very interesting, and it worked. But Collider are very anti-fandom as well. They're one of those who said, like the Snyder Cut didn't exist. But they also do things to get reactions. We've got to remember that. Creation K Villager, when was this? Who is John Campion? Villager, it was the one a few months ago when he called you out on Twitter and you argued over the Suicide Squad box office. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a tosser. Yeah, he blocked me. Yeah, hilarious. And I can't remember what he said about the Suicide Squad box office. But I think my point at the time was, and I've been quite consistent in this, the Suicide Squad IP, whether it's in general, isn't that popular. And the only reason the first one made bucks is because Harley Quinn and Joker were together. That captured the imagination from the Batman kind of universe stands, if you like. So we've got 7 people in the chat. Hello there. I found out something the other day that on YouTube, if you post a comment that the user doesn't like, they can block your comments from being viewed by others. Oh, well, yeah, what you do is, if now I can go on your name and I can go hide this person's comments from the rest of the chat. I can do it. I do it all the time. When people come in and are nasty or abusive, I do it all the time. Yeah, of course. That's a security measure, isn't it? Balconator, do you think the Snyderverse is getting restored? Yes, I do. It's looking like that all the time. A couple of actors hinting like Ray Fisher and Joe Manganiello with those profile pictures he keeps on putting up. Something is certainly happening. Unless Joe Manganiello is joining James Gunn's side of the things, which is cool, but we shall see. Maybe James Gunn is doing a Deathstroke series. Who knows? I mean, really, James Gunn needs to focus on Guardians 3, doesn't he? Crazy K, I posted a comment on Mark Kamade and Simon Mayo's video where they read fan reactions to No Time to Die on my other account. Fair enough. What's your point? Now, No Time to Die is a huge disappointment. Like all the Bond movies, the cinematography and the direction is fantastic. But the actual storytelling is absolutely awful. Not a great Bond film. Spectre, not a great Bond film. Skyfall is a rip-off of The Dark Knight. Maybe, Creation K, they just couldn't read your comment because there was too many comments. So they can't read everyone's comments out, can they? They're not me with 6 bloody people in the chat. You know, they're people with probably 500 people. They can't read everyone's comments. And of course, Mark Kamade and Simon Mayo are wrapping that show up. So that's finishing, which is very sad, of course. Creation K, get into it, just need to type. Basically, they were dissing and shunning people who called it out for being woke, a very valid critique, and they were replying in a terrible and defensive way. John, I'm back. What have I missed? Well, the thing is, Creation K, there's an old saying, what do you expect from a pig but a grunt? This is why I speak in a certain way. So I know what No Time to Die is. And I agree with you, it is that, because they were speaking about it prior movie, but that's not how I would go on that show and talk about it. I would say, basically, as I just said, the cinematography is great, you know, the action's great, but it's not a well-written movie like most of those Daniel Craig movies are. Unfortunately, they're not good movies. It's just a film that runs on and on and on. But if you throw the woke thing out there, yeah, they're going to dismiss you. They do get defensive. Because these people agree with that. They're all extreme leftists. So if you go in and just say that, Crazy K, anyway, I posted something that wasn't bad at all. It was along the lines of, why do you ask for fan reactions when you already have a set agenda and are unwilling to listen? Something like that. Yeah, you said right. But, you know, my experience of these people is this is what they like. This is what you're dealing with, Creation K. You're knocking your head against a brick wall. Don't waste your time. Creation K, and I only noticed the other day my comments have now been blocked. Yeah, it happens. I've been blocked by very famous people on Twitter. It happens. These are people who live in a bubble and they only can see one side of an argument, theirs. Villager, people act defensive because a lot of people use woke as an excuse to share weird and suspicious opinions that are often ridden with bigotry. Well, the problem is, Villager, that's a very extreme left thing to say, which is pretty much a bag of empty air at the end of the day. People say woke because, and as I said yesterday, there's good woke and bad woke. But I wouldn't say that emptily like that. I have substance to my arguments. Now, I think Creation K is speaking facts, and these people are woke. These people are extreme left. So if you say that to them, they're going to dismiss it. But if you come with a constructive argument, they can't. But at the end of the day, these are people who live in a bubble and only want to know their own opinion. And they're part of, they're intertwined with corporate Hollywood and corporate entertainment. They use each other. John, No Time to Die is my least favourite Bond movie. Baconator, since we are using the multiverse in the DCEU now, does that mean all of the other Batman, Superman movies are part of the DCEU? I mean, we got Michael Keaton's Batman. Not everything. Basically, Kilmer and Clooney are not part of canon in the DCEU's multiverse strategy. But yes, most things should be canon. But the problem is now we've got a Flash movie that's been delayed. The multiverse strategy may not be happening anymore. Siesta director, hey Mick, I read an article saying how the Snyderverse will not be restored. I remember when the Snyder Cut was a unicorn, but amazing how it still sells it out in stores here in the US. Well, you read an opinion piece, yes, the director. Creation K, Balconator, technically that could be possible, but sometimes they state otherwise. Villager, not really extreme left, just the most people I see don't have a substance or nuance to their arguments like you do. They just call gay characters an agenda and expect us to take that seriously. Well, the problem is what they mean. I can explain to you what they mean. That the LGBTQ community and minorities have been weaponized to make points and make commentary. And that's the problem. When you're weaponizing something, but you're pretending to be inclusive about it and the public can see through it, it gets frustrating. So they don't have nuance in their arguments because they're angry. Everyone's angry, aren't they now? That's the problem. Creation K, they pick and choose what is canon based on if people like it or not. That's business, Creation K. But as I say, the multiverse strategy is in doubt. That's what I'm going to say. Because they've just cancelled, well, not cancelled, delayed the movie where the multiverse strategy was going to start with. I mean, the thing is with me, Villager, I can see through these narratives. Villager, I do agree that LGBT are weaponized by fake wokes, but a lot of times when they call LGBT stuff an agenda, they really just mean I don't like gay characters in fiction. I think, right, if someone makes a film with gay characters in it, but in the marketing and in the media, it's not constantly bashed over people's heads, I don't think they mind, Villager. I think it's the messaging, it's the virtue signaling that triggers people. When Jodie Foster did The Accused, she wasn't slaughtering men, was she? But she made a great movie that taught young men a big lesson without, using it as weaponizing it against all men. Siesta Director, Joker 2019 was right. People aren't civil anymore. No, Todd Phillips was talking about social media. But that's what happens when you create a platform, these platforms. It's human nature. Creation K, bingo, that's it. How can you delay the Gateway movie? Because the Gateway's not going to happen. Villager, and this is proven to be their replies. Creation K, Siesta Director, the Joker is right a lot of time. It's just how he reacts to it. John, Hugh Grant would be a great choice for Doctor Who. He would be a very different choice to Doctor Who. But again, John, I must stress, I don't know how true this is. I know it's out there. I know it's been reported. But they didn't get it right about Jodie Whittaker. They only knew Jodie Whittaker was doing it like a couple of days before she was announced. So it might not be, but I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to Hugh Grant at all. I know some extreme leftists are very unhappy that a white actor may be playing Doctor Who, but that's the environment we live in. Do you understand what I'm saying about the extreme left? If I acted like that now, Villager, that's another point, isn't it? It's okay to say, oh no, not another white man, but when someone calls out other kind of stuff, they're bigots. And that's the problem with the extreme left. It's all one-way traffic. Why is it okay to call out a white man for getting a role? Villager, honestly, this whole woke discourse is exhausting because it's all over social media now from both the right and the left. Well, the extreme left and extreme right are the problem. They're shit stirrers and they each hate different types of people. The extreme right hate everyone and the extreme left hate us men. So they're both sides are mad and they shouldn't be the people in politics talking. It should be the central left and rights. But the extreme left and extreme right should all be in Arkham Asylum. Balconator, since The Flash is getting delayed till next year, should we avoid watching Batgirl? We might get spoiled since I think it takes place right after the flashback. No, they wouldn't put it out if that was the case, would they? No, you shouldn't avoid watching it because basically they're not involved with the DCEU. That's my theory. It's in another universe. It's in another Earth. The Flashpoint universe, Keaton's universe. Michael Keaton will not be the DCEU Batman. It will be in a self-contained Earth, as far as I'm concerned, from what I'm seeing. I mean, Peter Capaldi, like him, I know it's in a very similar bracket to Hugh Grant. I think they could probably make a more inspired choice for who is going to be the next Doctor Who. Yeah, but then Creation K, who do you choose? You know, you can't please everyone. And Hugh Grant is a very popular figure. I mean, it's an out there choice, but why not? Villager, well, that's because white people have been forefront throughout the history, and they have also erased non-white history. It's all about how white supremacy has been in the control a long time. Let me explain something to you, Villager. That's irrelevant to entertainment. I couldn't give a flying fuck, right? I couldn't give the flying fuck because white men have always had the roles of things like that. It's quite simple, really, right? You pick the best people for the job, not a certain person with a certain color or a certain background. You don't pick people because of what they're from or how they identify as. You go for the person you've envisioned for the role, and that's the end of it. So, no, Hugh Grant shouldn't be punished for being a white man. So when a white man is casted to play a black character, it's encouraging the idea white is the default and superior. Okay, Villager, this is another thing that the extreme left do, right? So how about all the white characters that are being removed and being swapped with people of colour and minority roles? How about that? Or is it okay the other way round because white men have had more roles in the history of entertainment? Disinferno, worst DC movie for you? Oh, I probably think, Catwoman. Actually, Catwoman. It's easy, isn't it? Question K, you may consider this mad, but Robert Pattinson could make a good Doctor Who. He would, but it's not going to happen. I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. No, I don't think he would. But I'm not saying it's as fact, just that how the left see things. Well, they're mad, aren't they? Entertainment shouldn't be political. Entertainment should just use the right people that they want to use. And that's it. But what they've done now with the entertainment industry, they've killed it. They've taken the fun out of it. Villager, Catwoman didn't happen. It was part of our imaginations. I'm afraid it did happen. It was bad. It's the worst DC movie for sure. John, whoever they choose to be the next Doctor, some people will not be... No, that's it. That's the problem with social media. There's always another opinion, isn't there? It doesn't end. It doesn't end. What I would say is about Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, the character work was never done on her. She was just put in front of the screen and said, oh, look, I'm a woman. That should be enough. She wasn't treated like the male doctors. Chris Chibnall just put her there for optics. And this is the environment we're in now. Scott Edwards, what's up? Hello, Scott. Good evening to you. Right, I'm going to give you another hour of my time. Siesta Director, imagine we get a Ben Affleck's trilogy. First movie versus Deathstroke and Deathshot and Joker in Suicide Squad timeline, and second versus Joker. How he kills Robin and Harley dies after jail and Third Nightmare, leading to jail 2 and 3. That would be good. Villager, I hate when female characters aren't treated as people, but instead as sex objects by men and stereotypes by women. Well, that's interesting, isn't it, John? What about when they're just plonked in the front of the screen and said, this is great representation and inclusion, like the first female Doctor, but the showrunner doesn't bother developing her character because all he ever wanted to do is say, we got the first female Doctor. I'd say that's worse. And, ultimately, men are used as sexual objects as well. And it's happened many times in history. But it's okay when it's done to us. Some women like being used as sexual objects. Some find it offensive. Scott Edwards, do you like the Flash and Black Lightning's friendship in the Arrowverse? I do, yes. I like Black Lightning and I like Flash. But the Flash series has gone down the pan again, hasn't it? I mean, for example, all the first traps who do OnlyFans. and do Instagram videos when they're jumping up and down. They're making themselves objects, aren't they now? Scott Edwards, you should watch the next story arc on The Flash season 8. Well, according to Boba, it's a load of rubbish. John, what are your thoughts on the Kraven the Hunter movie that they are doing? I know jack shit about Kraven the Hunter, but it's interesting, isn't it? We'll see. There's always a next movie, isn't there, in these franchises? It's never going to end, is it? I know nothing about him, though. Villager, got to go, Mick. I have to clean the house. Have a great day. Thanks for providing entertainment for us DC fans. You are welcome, Villager. See you again soon. Siesta Director, it's okay when MCU shows men's abs and muscles, but it's no when women show a little something. Look, we live in a crazy world. It's as simple as that. And everyone's trying to point score, and that's the problem, isn't it? Scott Edwards, that's because it's just been filler so far after Armageddon. Next story out hasn't started yet. And that's the problem, though, Scott, isn't it? I mean, you just drive the audience away. You bore the audience. Balcony, how big will the time jump do you think the Batman will be in the sequel? That's interesting, isn't it? Because you've got Joker and Riddler in Arkham right now. So, I mean, they could still be in Arkham in 5 years' time. I don't think it'll be, I think maybe a couple of years, maybe. Creation K, Asa Butterfield as the Doctor could definitely work. I think I'd like to see Tom Holland personally. I think Tom Holland will be an excellent Doctor, and I don't think it's out of the question either. He's young, the kids love him, it would be perfect. And I think the only issue with Hugh Grant is his age, because he doesn't bring the young people in. Jodie Whittaker hasn't brought young people in, really. John, what is a bad movie you watched that you enjoyed? Well, Green Lantern's one. Green Lantern is a movie because I think like the OR stuff they do in the beginning of the movie is sensational. The stuff on OR is great. It's the other stuff that doesn't really work. But yeah, I really like the Green Lantern movie, even though it's very flawed. Question Kate, who has she brought in? What are you talking about? Who has she brought in? Who are you talking about? Sister Director, what did you think of the recent Resident Evil reboot from November and the new one on Netflix coming up? I only like the Mia Jovovich stuff, to be honest with you. I'm not really impressed with the new stuff. So we got 9 of you, 5 likes, 14 votes. Is Christian Bale the best Batman? Yes, 7%. No, 93%. Oh dear, I'm sorry, Chris. Silhouette. Balconator, if Ben Affleck's Batman doesn't get his own solo movie, so he had a wasted potential, even though he got some good movies like Batman v Superman and Zack Snyder's Justice League, a movie centered around his is still better. Listen, I believe that it's not impossible. We know what happens in his movie. It's fantastic. It's great. We need to see it. We need to restore the Snyderverse. Snyder needs to get the DCEU back, right? And it's simple as that. He was doing a stellar job. I was very invested in what the man was doing. And what they did to his franchise and to him was despicable. Crazy K, you said Tom Holland would bring the younger generation in. I said regarding Whittaker, who has she brought in? Okay, can't think of anyone substantial. No. I think a bunch of people talk about her on Twitter and pretend they like her, Doctor. Siesta Director, Keaton was the best for the 90s, and Affleck is the best modern one. Affleck's a very good Batman. There's no question. When he's in that Batman costume, he looks fucking sensational and intimidating, especially when he fights Superman with the white eyes, that, you know, that Batman costume. Brilliant. He's a brilliant Batman. I think he's the best Batman, by the way. I think Batfleck is the best. It's just the way he is. I just really like him. I think he works. He feels dangerous, doesn't he? He feels like he can kick the shit out of you. He's an Elseworld Batman for sure. Definitely. But he's a great Batman, Ben. And I think Zack shoots that Batman so well, and that helps. Balconator, Affleck looks like Batman straight out from the comics. I think he's the best Batman. Yeah, I think he does. I mean, I think he's amazing. I like that bit at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League when Superman helps him up the wall. And I think, what an arc that is. In BVS, they wanted to kill each other. Then they're standing on that wall as allies. Isn't that great? Creation K, definitely an Elseworld Batman, but really a lot of them are. Almost every live-action adaptation is not quite the one from the comics. True. Yeah, it's difficult to translate live-action from comic books to live-action anyway. Balconator, Ben Affleck's Batman has the looks and the body of Bruce Wayne. Yep. He's pretty cool. I think Snyder always talks about his chin. The thing is with Snyder, he likes this stuff. He understands this stuff. And yeah, it is about subverting expectations. It is, you know, about deconstruction. But Snyder deconstructs to reconstruct. That's the important thing here. And it's a great storytelling tool. C.S. the director, Bale as Batman was good, not as Bruce. Pattinson as Batman, okay, but not as Bruce. Way too depressed. Affleck is the best, intimidating. Hashling me. Yo, Mike. Good evening, Hashling me. Creation K. But then again, I prefer that tape because each one brings something different rather than just repeating what the comics have shown. Exactly. Oh, yes. Did you hear about this? Christopher Lloyd is joining The Mandalorian Season 3. So that's very exciting. Creation K, Hashling me. Hello. Hello to Hashling me. Excited to have you on the show. Balconator, I hope we can see more flashbacks with him and Robin. I've always wanted to see a younger Batman with a Robin. Yes, that would be cool. I don't know if that would happen, but who knows? Hashling me. Hi. I think when every next Batman moves the envelope, and I think that's the problem with Bale. He was really popular at the time. But now, I mean, I just think Snyder moved the envelope so forward with his Batman. CS the director, which is your two favourite Batman? Keaton and Affleck take the win for me. Yes, Keaton and Affleck's Batmobiles are awesome, but I'm going to go for the Tumbler and Affleck's one. I love the Tumbler. I think the Tumbler's so awesome. It's not a traditional Batmobile. It's a fucking good idea, though. It's so hardcore, isn't it? It's so heavy duty, the Tumbler. Creation Gate, I've not seen one episode of Mando, to be fair, but I know the story. Basically, I just feel Star Wars is just telling the same story time and time again now. It needs to branch out. I think that's the problem with Star Wars. it needed, when Disney grabbed it and they decided not to go with George's like sequel trilogy, they should have started creating new planets, new adventures, new characters, but they didn't really do that. I know they gave us Ray and Finn, but they didn't execute them very well. And the whole thing's a bit of a mess. Mandalorian's okay in places. Question again, Knights of Old Republic, Future Galaxies. There's so much to do with Star Wars. Yes, there's so much that's been written about Star Wars and being ignored. Baconator, Patterson and Affleck are Batmans that can actually scare you. Very true. CS the director, Tumblr is a tank. How about the tank at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League where Affleck is standing on it? That's so cool. And that is directly from the comics, I think. And yes, I do like that. But we don't get a good enough look at it, do we, though? To make a big judgment on it. I think Affleck Batmobile is the best one. Also, I like the vibes of the Batman Batmobile. It feels so monstrous and intimidating, and the sound of it, the recent one in the Batman is very cool, isn't it? And the Affleck one is amazing. That does look like kind of OG Batmobile, doesn't it? I love it. And obviously, the Batfleck Batmobile chase when he's going after the Kryptonite is one of the best, Batmobile sequences I've ever seen in live action. Snyder killed it. CS the director, what did you think of Starro in the Suicide Squad? Yeah, I mean, he looked amazing, didn't he? And it was a pretty cool concept. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I liked the message behind it. It was basically it's commentary against animal cruelty, which makes a change for these people to talk about something that's actually valid and important. So yeah, I did like the whole thing with Starro. Crashing K, is Starro in the comics? He is, yes. James Gunn knows the Suicide Squad comics so well. That's why he chose that. But it's not a big IP, the Suicide Squad. It's not going to make a lot of money in theaters. That's why they're kind of craftily taking it onto streaming now. Because the Suicide Squad did really well on streaming, but really badly in theaters. So I think that sums it up. They're not going to do that anymore. Creation K, interesting. John Kelly, have you had the chance to see Peacemaker yet? I've seen the first episode. Creation K, what are some films you have seen, Mick and Chat, that you thought... Right, let's start again. Creation K, what are some of the films you have seen, Mick and Chat, that you thought did comedy very well? Police Academy, the Indiana Jones franchise, Star Wars, A New Hope did comedy very well. Ghostbusters, the original two Ghostbusters, unlike Ghostbusters Afterlife. CS the director, now we have a multiverse. I wouldn't mind seeing Kilmer, Tommy, Alicia, Clooney, and Chris as Robin make a nice cameo, but respectful, not corny. Unfortunately, CS the director, those things will not be part of the multiverse if the multiverse actually ever happens. None of those things are going to be canon, we were told. Says the director, then what's the point of the multiverse? What they're saying is Keaton is canon and the rest of the films are not. Oh, for Christ's sake, I didn't mean to do that. Empole. Hashtag Mick, do you like rom-com movies? If so, may I have some recommendations? They're not really my thing. Wow. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'd have to think about that. But they're not really my cup of tea. Crazy K, nice one of my favourite films with good comedies. Definitely Spider-Man 1. Really? That's a comedy? Balconator, well, it depends. Anything can be canon. It's up to WB and the directors what is canon and what isn't canon. Yeah, and they've decided the Val Kilmer and George Clooney era will not be in The Flash. But that's if everything that they were talking about is still going to happen. Crazy Gate balanced the seriousness and grounded feel Spider-Man with comedic elements that work. CS the director, between Bale and Pattinson is tough. Both as Batman were good, but not as Bruce. I actually think Christian Bale was a brilliant Bruce Wayne. I think that's where his strengths were, especially in Batman Begins. Crashing Cat, I'm not talking about a film that is not specifically a comedy that has those elements in it. Is Henry Cavill still Superman? Yes, 75%. No, 25%. But considering The Flash has been delayed, I don't know what's going on anymore. So it's probably not even... I mean, a few months ago, I would have been very excited about that conversation. But since they've delayed The Flash, I don't believe in what they're doing anymore. And I was very for it. CS the director, if Sony Marvel can bring 3 generations of Spider-Man, then DCWB can do the same. But they don't want to. They don't want Clooney and Kilmer as canon. Balconator, is Supergirl on The Flash? Is Supergirl on The Flash a part of the current DCEU from a different universe? My guess is that Sasha Calle's Supergirl in the Flash movie is a Flashpoint Supergirl, and they swapped her for Flashpoint Superman. Crazy Kate, is Henry Cavill still Superman? No, not now, but he may be restored. Well, because nothing's been said in the universe, my friend. Officially, he's still there. He's still Superman. We just haven't seen him since 2017. Oh, boy. Discovery have got some hard work to do, that's for sure. That company has been mismanaged for far too long. Let's do it for our country. Our country wants us to. It's Uncle Sam who's asking. Crazy Kate, is it just me or is it getting crazier out there? Is it just me or is it getting crazier out there? Siesta Director, I have a strong feeling that Henry will appear in Black Adam and Shazam 2. Let's not forget his version did appear in the first Shazam. All these delays must be to include all we've been asking. I don't think that's what the delays are for, unfortunately. I hope they are, but I think there's a corporate situation going on. Crash K, what a line from Mr. Fleck. Yep. And what a great execution of the line by the iconic Joaquin Phoenix. One of the best DC movies ever made. Yes, I'll take that over $1 billion MCU movie and everyone going, oh, the MCU. No, I'll keep the iconic artistic movies that DC's had all these years. John, if Henry does not come back as Superman, he has got lots of other projects. He has, but those other projects don't interest me, John. I am a Superman fan, and I think Henry should come back. And there's no Superman films out there. You know, this is not right. I'm a Superman fan. I don't want to see him at Marvel. I want him back in the DCEU with Zack Snyder with that awesome Superman arc. That's what we want. Baconator, is there a confirmed reason why they delayed the movies? Well, they didn't come out and say it themselves, but according to James Wan, he was very grateful for the delays because he wouldn't have been ready for December. It's all bullshit. It's not. That is not the reason they've delayed the Flash movie for over 7 months. Question case. Someone in the chat asked, "What is the worst MCU film I have seen?" It is joint between Eternals and Black Widow. I think Iron Man 2 is one of the worst ones I've seen. Siesta Director. One thing I really didn't like from the Batman was Riddler. He looked like an evil gimp killer. I can't take his mask serious. Well, I could, and he's supposed to be a dark, disturbing character. That's the point. He's not the Riddler we know and love yet. That's the point. It's a bit like Man of Steel. Superman isn't really Superman yet. He's beginning on his journey. But people seem to not understand these nuances. He'll be the Riddler you know eventually, maybe in the second movie. I think it's pretty obvious what he's going for. Obviously, you didn't like it, and that's fair enough. None of those Rogues Gallery members are the characters they will become. Creation K, the Riddler is definitely not getting any lighter. Well, he was in Batman Forever, wasn't he? Oh, I think he will. I think he will get lighter. Creation K, especially behind those prison bars. Oh, he's going to get lighter. He will. This is just the beginning of his journey. John, I did not like Iron Man 2. Iron Man 3, you see, is a really bad movie, but it's got great action and it's more entertaining than the second one. John Kelly, the Batman has reportedly made 797 million, so it looks like it will make $1 billion. That's not accurate. It's only just made over 600. So he hasn't made 797 million. I mean, I'll check later on, but I don't think that's correct. It only cleared 600 million today. And they're saying it won't make $1 billion. It's going to reach to about 850 million. Siesta Director, have you played or seen Arkham Knight? The Riddler was playing the same role of the Scarecrow from the game, but changed to Riddler. Scarecrow deserves to be in the next film. I haven't seen the game, but that's a very good spot, and that's very interesting. Maybe that says that Reeves doesn't want to use Scarecrow. That's how it looks to me if he's given Scarecrow's role to Riddler. Hashling me, when some fan page posted about Tyler Hessling for the DCEU Superman if Henry not returned, many people got triggered. Well, they could be, maybe that was their plan. Maybe that was their plan. He's very popular. The show's a great Superman adaptation. If you do have to replace him, I'd certainly be looking at him. He's very good and people like him. And with a bigger budget, his Superman would be even more awesome. So I wouldn't be triggered by that. My first thing is bring back Henry. But if we can't do that, yeah, Tyler or Brandon, would be awesome. Why not? I think Tyler Hoechling's an amazing Superman. But we want Henry back. There's no question we want Henry back. Question Kate, this is one problem with the Batman. The world in which Bruce exists in already painted in a darker tone than it should be. The palette is not neutral enough to provide flexibility moving forward. Well, that's the universe he's created, but maybe you're wrong, Creation K. Maybe the whole idea of this Batman universe is that it evolves through time. With the good stuff that Batman does, it slowly does become a bit more palatable and a bit more lighter and friendly. But ultimately, in the comics, Gotham is a never-ending cesspool that Batman has to keep on fighting one thing at a time. It's like what Batfleck says in BVS. Criminals are like weeds, Alfred. You pull one out, and no one grows in its place. And I think that's the point of Batman's universe, isn't it? Balconator. Shazam got a test screening earlier than The Flash, but The Flash was originally supposed to come out before Shazam. That tells you that they were planning on delaying The Flash. John, Scarecrow could really be scary in Matt Reeves' universe. He certainly could be. Ashley, me. Do you like Brandon as Atom or Superman? I like him as Atom, but obviously as a Superman fan, I prefer him as Superman. C.S. the director, there were rumors a while ago that Superman was in The Flash, but pics got taken down fast. I have a feeling we'll be getting a nice surprises in the DCEU movies. I hope so, my friend. I hope so. But I just don't trust these people, unfortunately. Creation K, good point. Story evolution is very important. And the character of Batman in Matt Reeves' universe has already had an evolution. He wanted to be vengeance. And by the end of the film, he wants to be hope. So that evolution has already started. And it looks like it's an evolutionary story. And that's my problem with the Nolan verse, the Dark Knight trilogy. They gave him a happy end. Well, they killed him, but then they tried to say, well, maybe he's still alive and living happily ever after. Batman doesn't get to have a happy ending. That's very important. Heroes don't get to live happily ever after. It's a never-ending cycle. That's their life. One of the best endings is 24. When, in the end, Jack Bale gets captured by the Chinese. Jack Bale's life should never be happy. He's a hero. And, he's in this never-ending struggle. And that was the best endings I've ever seen to a story. Jack Bale gets married and has kids and they have a funny, jokey ending. It's not fun. It's disappointing. It's an anticlimax. Dexter New Blood, the new Dexter series. Because a character like that can't have a happy ending. Doesn't fit within their story. I thought the Desperate Housewives season finale really missed it when they said they all left Wisteria Lane and one of them became this and they were all successful. No, that was lame to me. I'm not really a fan of happy endings either. They bore me. They underwhelm me. Question K, this is not true. There can be an ending, but just not often. The stories have been thrown at people, teach them that there is not a happy ending. But this is not true for all cases. Well, actually, my friend Question K, no. I've actually spoken to Batman writers who say it's a never-ending struggle. You can end it, but it can never be a happy ending. You can't solve Gotham's problems, just like you can't solve the world's problems. You can make life easier and better, and Batman does, but it's a never-ending battle. C.S. the director. Iron Man 2 was cool, but 3 was ridiculous. I can't watch Ant-Man without falling asleep. I do prefer Iron Man 3 to Iron Man 2. Hashling me. Mike, do you think after Logan movie, will he ever be happy? Do I think after Logan movie, well, he died, didn't he? How can he be happy? He's dead. Logan died, didn't he? John, Spider-Man No Way Home did not get a happy ending. Yes, and that was so anti-MCU, and I like that he had to say goodbye to his friends and he made the ultimate sacrifice. That film really felt like Spider-Man Begins. Balconator, with all those Restore the Snyderverse trends, especially on Twitter, there's no way in hell Discovery and WB hasn't think about restoring it. Well, when Discovery and WB merges, then they'll consider it. But the current Warner Brothers Pictures and their incumbents really hate Zack said himself, they're very anti-Zack Snyder. But these new people that are coming in won't be anti-Zack Snyder. That's the good news. Creation K, The Dark Knight Rises didn't imply a complete happy ending for Batman. There was a happy ending for Bruce, but his mantle was taken up by someone else for the Protector. There is no end, but there is for the... Yeah, that's what I'm telling you, Creation K. I don't like it. I want Batman to carry on being Batman. I don't want him to end up with a happy family. That's not what I want for the character. I want him to be the hero. I want it to be a never-ending struggle, and that's what it's like in the comics. Creation K, or there can be, just depends on the story. I don't like it. Not for Batman. Batman is a character who should not have a happy ending. That's what I like about The Dark Knight Returns. There's no happy ending. This is one dude who is cursed. He's had a fucked up life, and all he's ever done is try to be the solution. That's who he is. He's like a soldier. CS the director, I'm still bothered how Carnage was treated on Venom 2. Introduced and killed in the same movie like Black Mask in Birds of Prey. Yeah, it was lame, wasn't it, unfortunately? And I actually liked Venom 2. I found it entertaining. Creation K, is he not meant to be a symbol? Batman lives, and this is beyond the person who takes up the mantle. Yeah, and when he dies, someone else can take up his mantle. He doesn't need to get married and have kids and live happily ever after. While Batman lives and Bruce lives, he'll want to be Batman. That is logical and consistent to the character. Jude the Fourth, even the Doctor doesn't get happy endings. That's right. I don't like these characters getting happy endings. I like the never-ending struggle. Balconator, do you believe Jason Todd dying and becoming Red Hood is Batman's biggest failure? Well, it has to be one of them. And of course, when you're a character in Batman's shoes, you're going to fail because you're only human and you're flawed, aren't you? But that was his failure. Of course, the reason Jason Todd got killed off is because nobody liked his Robin, or most people didn't back in the day. But it's a great story, isn't it? Hastling meme. Mask of the Phantasm is the epitome of what Mike trying to say. Exactly, Hastling meme. That's what I enjoy, a never-ending struggle. There should never be these stupid happy endings. It's boring. It's boring. And I know people are obsessed. Oh, why can't they have a happy story? As soon as you get a fucking happy story, the story becomes boring. CS the director, let's be honest, The Dark Knight was trash. It was rushed and Nolan didn't care. To me, it's the worst of all three. You mean The Dark Knight Rises? I actually think, listen, it probably is rushed, but I think it's an okay movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. Target 1K, subscribe this channel. Thank you. I've got 1K, haven't I? I've got 1K, haven't I? Yeah, 1.18K. Or 1.180K, 81K, I think. Creation K, if you only believe in a never-ending struggle, then the pursuit is in vain. What is the journey without the end? Why pursue it if there is no end goal? It's pointless. It's better to not pursue it at all. That's not very realistic, though, is it, Creation K? We don't get happy endings. As long as we're alive, it's a never-ending struggle, my friend. So, yes, when Batman's in this, it's a never-ending struggle to him. He doesn't think, oh, one day I'm going to get married and be happily ever after. He keeps on going. So I'm sorry, Creation K, I disagree with you. Your point is valid, and I'm sure it's valid to other people. It's just not something I agree with. We could go on about this, but I'm never going to say you're right, in my opinion. CS the director, do you think we'll ever see DC versus Marvel on the big screen one day? Well, they'll probably do it because there's money in it, but it would take a lot of red tape to go through. John, I can't believe we have to wait until the end of the year for a DC movie. It's pathetic, isn't it? And that's John, if they actually stay there. Can't trust them. Can't trust them. What a shame. What a tragedy. What a shame that those scumbags at Marvel did this before us and they made it successful. Sister Director, what do you think of Jurassic World crossover with the Fast Saga? I would love to see it happen. I even emailed Universal to make it. I mean, it's not something that floats my boat, but then I've never seen a Fast movie. So I'm sure for those two fans, it'd be great. I don't know how you make sense of that, though. Creation K, I understand. I don't like happy endings. They bore me. I don't want to lose my Batman. I want him fighting for the residents of Gotham. He's the only one who can protect them. We don't if we're heroes don't make selfish decisions and go, I want to live happily ever after. Fuck you. No, that's just childish, kind of juvenile mentality as far as I'm concerned. Balconator, what do you prefer, Japanese manga or American comics? I can't tell you what I prefer because I've never read Japanese manga comics. So I've only read American comics, so that's my thing. But it's not my preference because I don't know what the other comics you're referring to actually are, what their content is. So I can't give you an answer there. But in all honesty, I'm a live action movie and TV drama guy. I read very little. That's who I am. Sister Director, if you see the Fast 9, the intro alone is missing dinos, that would be epic. As ridiculous as it sounds, but man, I really get hate whenever I bring it up. It would be massive. Well, they've gone to space, so... John, do you think Doctor Strange remembers who Spider-Man is? Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? I think yes. But that's a good point, isn't it? Because everyone's going to forget who he is now. I don't even think Zendaya will be in the next movie. Zendaya's very busy with WB. Euphoria is huge. Obviously, June, she's going to be busy with June. She's going to be in that film a lot more. And if I was them, I would grab her for DC live action as well. She's doing a lot of work for WB. Creation K, John, I do not think so. If Ron got spooked, so did he. Creation K, John, I did not think so. If one got spooked, so did he. Sister Director, what do you think, or are you excited for Jurassic World Dominion? I'm not overly excited for it. I'll watch it. I like the films, my friend. I'm not really a big fan of them, but yeah, I mean, obviously I will watch it. It's like Avatar 2. I'll watch it. It'll be interesting to me, but I'm not like, oh my God. You know, DC and Superman is really what gets me excited, what really gets me up in the morning. And lots of other stuff that I grew up with, of course. About 20 minutes to go of the chat. We'll take it up to 2 hours. And then I'll be cooking my dinner at 7. I think this is a good time, you know. And then I can have my dinner and I can just sit back and watch Zack Snyder's Justice League. Wouldn't that be fun? Creation King Mick, what were your thoughts on Tenet? Have you seen it? Yes, I have seen it once. Look, it's all right. But to me, it doesn't really do anything new. Chris is becoming a one-trick pony in a way. So I liked it. It was okay, but I wasn't overly. And I don't think many people are that obsessed with it. John, I think the next Spider-Man movie will be the college years, but obviously he's going to be at a separate college, isn't he? He won't be at the same college as them, will he? Balcony, I grew up watching Iron Man's trilogy and Christian Bale's trilogy. Wow. I grew up watching Christopher Reeve's Superman's 4 movies. Question you can also enjoy. Ashley mean, when DC versus Marvel thing finally happened, do you think Disney or WB will take charge? Because I don't think they will share power. Well, me, they would have to share power. They would have to, as it doesn't work, does it? No one is going. Not one studio isn't going to let the other one take creative control. Never going to happen. These characters are important to each side. Never going to happen. It would have to be even. Is Henry Cavill still Superman? That's my poll. Yes, 77%. No, 23%. Pretty cool. Very positive voting. Question K, interesting. Did you understand the film and the premise, science behind it? That is another question I have. When you watch a film, do you want it to make you think and analyze, or just to escape? Well, my normal instinct is to watch something that takes me away from my reality. I mean, I don't mind having to think about a film afterwards. That's interesting to me. It could do both things. For example, the film JFK got me obsessed with the JFK assassination for years. I went to the library, I researched it. I really wanted to be the one, and I really wanted to know Lee Harvey Oswald and John F. And I even wrote a mini piece of fan fiction called Lee Harvey Oswald and the President. And, because I became really upset with it. So I do like to think about things and analyze things afterwards if they're that interesting to me. And did I understand the premise of Tenet? Yes, I did. Reno Jack, yo, Mick, just a thought. I feel like all other Batman movies are comics turned into films, but Reeve's version is a movie turned comic book with great visuals and storytelling. Well, it's taken from the graphic novels, isn't it? And I think the other movies are not really faithful adaptations from the comics. Balconator, lol, if a DC versus Marvel happens at the big screen, it will most likely be a tie. Creation K, that is really interesting, and I thank you for sharing that. You're welcome. That is all part of the service that I provide for free. John, do you think we will ever see Toby and Andrew as Spider-Man again? Yes, because look at the money it's making. That movie made money, not because of Tom Holland. It made money mostly because of Tobey Maguire, but Andy Garfield's coming back was important too. I'd put them two in a kind of Public Enemy kind of movie. Dr. Zashisaki, yo-ho, Mick. Good evening, Dr. Zashisaki. You've got about 20 minutes. We've nearly been here for 2 hours, so you've probably been in bed. Siesta Director, who would win? Dom's car from the last saga or Pattinson's muscle car? Well, I don't know Fast very well, my friend, so I'm going to go for Pattinson's muscle car. Dr. Sashizako, Renault Jack, I agree. Creation K, John Multiverse of Madness. Their exit was very abrupt, and it looks likely that they were added in reshoots. Yes, probably in there, yes. Dr. Sashizaka, I can join in the next chat. Well, you can join in this one. You can stay here. I'll be here for the next 20 minutes. Renault Jack agreed. I love Nolan's trilogy, but I feel like he took his own creative liberties and it had many film tropes. Don't necessarily agree with the killing of villains and lack of Arkham Asylum. Well, unfortunately, they've all kind of do this to kill off villains, don't they? Apart from, obviously, Matt Reeves. I love Chris Nolan's first film, Batman Begins. I think that's an amazing Batman movie, one of my favorites. I like The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, but they don't really appeal to me as much as they do to others. As for the liberties, well, that's what storytelling's about, because you can never do a copy and pasted comic to screen anyway. But I don't like iconic villains being killed off either. Creation K, maybe Dr. Zashisaka has something on his hands, but is listening in, grateful to have him anyway. We're very grateful, of course. John, maybe Andrew and Toby will be in Marvel Secret Wars. Maybe, maybe. Well, the problem with Andrew and Toby's Spider-Man, they're owned by Sony. So they can't do anything without striking other deals. So it's a bit difficult. The deal is to involve these people in Spidey movies. But I think it's very difficult to put them in other stuff and for Sony to agree. So it's interesting. Question came, Mick, how is the development and writing of your shows going? Yes, slowly but surely, my friend. Obviously, I'm doing that. I write and direct and star in my own plays here in Cyprus as well. So there's a lot going on. Dr. Zashisaka, Batman Begins is a true blue Batman movie. The Dark Knight is heat with Joker. The Dark Knight Rises is a mash of early, hard-boiled caper movies. Yeah, definitely. I think that's a very fair assessment, Dr. Zashisaka. CS the director, which penguin did you like more? We also need to make The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Well, I think it's a bit unfair to judge the Batman's penguin because we've only seen him for a little bit. I love him. I think he's great and he's the gangster guy and that's the way they're going with him. But at the moment, until we see a full movie, obviously when I see the series with him in on HBO Max, but at the moment, I think DeVito's penguin is the best. But I did like what we saw. Creation K, Dr. Zashizaka, what is a true blue? Smash a like on the like button if you haven't. If you're here in the chat and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Check out my poll, should I say. Is Henry Cavill still Superman? Yes, 77%. No, 23%. So it's 10-7 here in Cyprus. So I'll be signing off in 10 minutes. Creation K, the Batman is a film of will be's and should be's and not fully formed or close and fully formed characters. It's disappointing on one hand, but also inspiring for what is to come. Well, yes, but you wouldn't expect the characters to be all finished and ready to go in the first movie, would you? So I don't find that disappointing. C.S. the director, Sony needs to capitalize on Andrew now and make The Amazing Spider-Man 3 and one last film with Toby. I think that's what they need to do. If they're smart, I think they will do that because I think although there are other stuff that they're doing is profitable, Venom is obviously profitable. I'm sure Morbius will be profitable for a certain audience. But they probably need to take the kind of liberties they did with Spider-Man No Way Home. John, Colin loves playing villains in superhero movies. He does. But I think this one's a successful one. Creation K, however, one can always say this character is going to be this character is going to be that. The main thing is the final delivery. Well, obviously that's important, but it's not the most important thing. When I was watching Smallville and Clark and Lex were friends, and I knew that one day Lex would be the iconic Lex Luthor. I wasn't saying, oh, I wish they'd hurry up and get to the ending. I was enjoying the journey. For me, it is about the journey. That's the beauty of storytelling, the journey. Hashling me. 2 minutes ago, you said 20 minutes left, so it should be 18 minutes. Well, sorry, Hashling me. I make the rules, but maybe I made a mistake. But anyway, it's now 10-7. I always cook my dinner at 7 o'clock, so it will be in about 8 minutes I'll be going. I think I was looking at that instead of looking at the time. Bit hungry. Do you know I've been talking without a rest for 1 hour and 45 minutes? Pretty awesome, right? I do not know if Reeves is the main to handle fully formed characters. It seems all his characters are rough work in progress, early doors characters. Maybe this is the speciality that let us see. Well, it's the beginning of a franchise. Of course, this is the beginning, the potential of the characters, and they're not all finished up. You wouldn't expect them to be fully formed by the end of the first movie. That would be quite dull and boring. Dr. Zaka, Creation K, I meant that although Nolan took inspiration from comics for Begins, but he made it his own beast and not relied on the other movies the way he did with the sequels. Good point, Dr. Zaka. See us, the director. What's for dinner? I think I'm going to cook some rice and salmon. Sound good, doesn't it? Renault Jack, in The Dark Knight, Bruce is ready to hand over the reins to Harvey so that he can have a relationship with Rachel, but he does it right after Harvey almost kills that laughing lunatic character. Well, you mean the Joker? But yeah, I mean, I didn't even like Batman's motivation that, yeah, you know, I just want to give up and, you know, hand it over to someone else, because ultimately, you know, he can't, he won't, Two-Face, when he's not Two-Face, I forgot his name now, right? He can't do what Batman does anyway. So none of it makes sense, really. I know he's putting people away, but Dr. Zaka, rice and salad sounds yum. Renault Jack, not great timing in my opinion. Creation K, but Nolan's Batman was the beginning of a franchise, right? Burton's Batman was the beginning of a franchise, yeah. They had more matured characters, I feel. Yes, they did something different, right? Nolan's Batman is called Batman Begins, but he's pretty much the fully formed Batman. That's because they're not telling a story that's going to evolve through time. That's why. What's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander. It's all about the journey. Not just for me, but many, many people. People are excited to go through this journey. They don't want a fully formed universe from the beginning. This is a journey. And I mean, you can tell that it's self-explanatory from watching it. Hashtag me. Sounds delicious, Mike. Thank you. John, there is a comic I read that sees Batman team up with Spider-Man to face the Joker and Carnage. Wow. Creation K, Dr. Zaka. Got it. Thank you. Creation K, Harvey Dent. That's it. Renault Jack. No, not the Joker, the mental patient who assisted him in the shooting. Dr. Zaka, Creation K. Yes, Burton had a mature Batman. C.S. the director, I own that comic Batman, Spider-Man team up. I even made 2 short films on YouTube. Wow, that's amazing. Good stuff. Dr. Zaka, have you seen this new movie? Everyone is raving about it. Nope. It's normally the films that people rave about that are shit. Creation K, C.S. the director, nice. I will take a look. 4 minutes to go, everyone. It's getting cold. I'm hungry. But it's been a great 1 hour and 49 minutes. It's been a great live chat. Good to know that I can come in at this time and there's people to talk. We will see. We will see. Creation K, will you do a stream where you watch videos related to comic books that people in chat recommend? Would be interesting to see your thoughts. It sounds good. It sounds like a good idea, but I don't know how I would do that. I mean, physically. So we'll see in the future when I've got better technology. But the reason I do these lives is just to interact with people and I think it's nice. But it's certainly a good idea. I will give you that. So, yes, the director. The film is called Batman and Spider-Man. Chaos in Gotham, and the chaos continues. It has over 200k views. The first got taken down by WB. Oh, right. Well, that's a shame. John, there used to be a lot of Marvel DC crossover comics. There did. I think it's changed now because of the studio's connections or the studio being involved. Reno Jack, I'm on California, so I'm glad to get into the chat for once. I usually watch after and always smash a like. Cheers, have a good one. Thank you, Reno Jack. Thank you, I appreciate that. Always nice to see that people are interested. California, hey? Lucky man. California, here we come. Oh, I used to love the OC. What a great show that was. Well, at least old Seth got himself a gig on the Shazam movie from OC. Right, I'll read one more comment, then I'm going to go. So if anyone wants to put a comment up for me to read, one last one, and then I'm going to go. Reno Jack, much warmer than 4 Celsius here, lol. Oh, right. Yeah, well, here, yes, it's quite cold, actually. That's why I keep on going like that. Sister Director, imagine Discovery came out and announced restore the Snyderverse. It will be a very exciting day. I hope it happens. I think it will happen, everyone. I will be back tomorrow. This has been Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss this perfection. And # me. Mike, it's been fun hearing your thoughts. Thank you, # me. Always great to talk to you and everyone else. Thank you for the support. So we finished off our poll. Is Henry Cavill still Superman? Yes, 77%. No, 23%. John, see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, John. Thank you for coming on the show and communicating here on the chat. It's been absolutely fantastic. So until I see you again, goodbye. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. I nearly forgot it. See you again soon. Bye-bye. Siesta Director, same time tomorrow. Probably, it seems like a good time, so we'll try it again tomorrow, unless something dramatic happens. So until then, goodbye, au revoir, Auf Wiedersehen, see you later.